Hello, I am alive, the nightmare is over. If you're seeing this video, it means my desktop is back in working order and I can get back to business. This is mainly for those who haven't kept up with my community posts. If you're one of those people, let me give you the rundown on what exactly has been happening in the wonderful world of Max. If you want to skip to the actual portion where I talk about video scheduling, skip to chapter 4. The story begins in August, literally. On August 1st, it's a day like anything else. I wake up, I go to work, and want to explode thanks to the people I deal with at work. I get a message from the friend of a friend who's planning a VR movie night. I've had the index for a little over a month now, and most of my time has been spent in Boneworks with the occasional dips into Fortnite Wendell impersonation, so a movie sounds nice. That same night at around 9:15, my computer froze. This is the first time something like this has happened in a long time, so I instinctively restart the computer and she boots back into Windows like nothing happened.
That was weird.
I think to myself and fire up VR chat with pretty much no issue for the rest of the night. We're watching Ghostbusters, taking the piss out of the CG moments and watching Dan Aykroyd get some fantastic beyond the grave head. After the movie's done, we all decide to go to another world. It's a little past midnight at this point and I've been sitting in a chair for a few hours, so it's time to get the bones moving again. I get up, I move my chair out of the way since my space is limited as it is, and then my computer freezes again. Sufficiently annoyed, I reboot the thing again and my computer starts to do this thing where it turns itself on and off repeatedly. To those who don't have the Asus TUF Gaming Z390 motherboard, this is a normal thing for the computer to do, at least in my context. This means the computer is cycling through memory profiles to find the best one for operation. This is something I have 100% seen before, but is usually tied to the RAM, though considering it was 1 AM and I had an HD TV strapped to my face for a few hours, IT Max wasn't exactly working at peak performance. After about 4 reboots, black screen. Without thinking, I disconnect the computer and start taking things in and taking them out, reseating everything and trying everything I can think of to get the computer to start until I gave up at around 2 in the morning. I had work later and I had to get up early as it is. I get to work alive against all odds, and when I get back home I start experimenting more before finally narrowing down the problem. To the nerds who are curious and can't be bothered to check the channel description, the RAM sticks I had at this time were 4 G-Skill Trident Z DDR4 4000 8GB sticks. If you're curious about the exact specifications you can by all means check out the decrepit Newegg listing linked in the description below. Now it's important to clarify that when my PC was originally built back in 2019, I was running this thing on 16GB of RAM. 2 of my sticks are clearly labeled as being from June of 2019 and the latter 2 sticks were purchased in July of 2021. During my experimenting, I realized when the computer had the 2021 sticks installed, it would boot perfectly fine, but the second either of the 2019 sticks were installed, it would refuse to boot at all. The computer at this point in the timeline is working fine, and I had a trip coming up. Anyway, with diagnosis complete, I get the thing booting on 16GB again with the 2021 sticks and all is fine and well in the world. I'm not in a rush to get more RAM since 16 gigs was plenty for me, and at this point the sticks I had originally purchased seemed to no longer be manufactured, so I had to get a new set anyway if I ever wanted to go back to 32. It's generally good practice to get RAM that is identical speed and timings whenever you buy sticks. I couldn't do that in this case. At the end of that week I was on vacation, I went off to the woods in New Hampshire, I climbed Black Mountain and wanted to die. It was nice. I also got this dope ass sticker from Cannon Mountain. We get back the next week and I had what was basically the worst couple days of work I had in a long time. Cue August 15th. I'm home, I'm tired, I'm stressed. I'm gonna put on the index and blow off some steam. Now keep in mind, I haven't even done anything on the computer yet. The most intense thing open on this hardware was arguably Windows 11 itself, when the thing crashes again. With enough frustration to power a small city flowing through me, I start messing with the sticks one at a time and get the thing booting on 8GB of memory instead of 16. Fast forward a couple days later when I try to experiment with a few things and the computer freezes one last time while I'm in the BIOS and the last RAM stick is essentially dead. At this point, the computer's in a coma and I'm unsure if I can get it out of it. Keep in mind these sticks were 4 years old and 2 years old respectively, so having both sets die within weeks of each other is very weird. At this point, I didn't really care and just wanted to rule out any potential issues. I didn't have any spare sticks to test with, so popping in a new set on the fly wasn't an option. I had to go shopping. Shopping for PC parts is fun. I had to brush myself up on what exactly all this technobabble actually means in the grand scheme of things and try to find something that will get my computer up and running and won't cause it to do the big kaboom, because that seemed to be my luck with computers up to this point. Now let me preface this with the phrase, I generally like Newegg. I don't live near a lot of places with PC part variety. The nearest Micro Center is a couple hours away, and Best Buy, with all due respect to Best Buy, wouldn't be my first choice for parts because everything save for power supplies and thermal paste needs to be bought online at my local one. I settled on a few sets of G-Skill Ripjaws. I only did this because G-Skill was a brand I've had before and I know others have purchased in the past, and since they're not some random sketch no-name brand, I figured why not. DDR4 2666 and 4 sticks for a little under $100? Great. I placed the order on the 19th, label is made with UPS on the 21st, and the estimated delivery is between the 24th and the 28th. August 22nd, no updates. August 23rd, no updates. August 24th, no updates. At this point, I'm getting concerned. Where's the package? Putting the tracking number into UPS's website tells me pretty much nothing. It's as if the tracking number doesn't even exist. Friday night, I tried to fill my time. I picked up a couple movies and finally got around to watching the new Puss in Boots since I haven't seen a DreamWorks movie in a while.
What took you so long, idiot?
Oh yeah, and Newegg's tracking was just as clueless as I was. August 25th, no updates. August 26th, no updates. I've had enough. I'm not going to spend too much time angry about it. Lost packages happen all the time, and that's what I'm assuming happened here, and frankly, I didn't feel like waiting and I just wanted to rule out a faulty motherboard, so after not finding much with Micro Center, I started skimming the table scraps of DDR4 memory left over on the Best Buy online shelves. I settled on a 32GB set of some Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro, two 16GB sticks with some half-decent timings, and placed the order. Got my ass in the car, drove to Bust Bay, got my sticks, and when I got back home, I shoved them bitches inside, and now I have insanely bright RGB gamer trash RAM being the brightest thing in my fucking PC, despite the fact that I have 4 RGB fans in there already. I've had good luck with Newegg before and considering the price at Best Buy was $10 cheaper, I got a better deal in the end, so thanks to them for coming in clutch and saving me some money in the process. No videos rendered yet, but that's more CPU than anything. Speaking of videos, this entire event threw me off, so I want to talk about what's going to be going on in the coming months because my schedule has gone to poop. The original plan that I had was to make a video on the Fallout New Vegas door randomizer, and that video is still going to happen, but that needs more time in the oven for a variety of reasons. Primarily because my computer thought it would be funny to self-lobotomize several times over the span of 2 weeks, partly because my life was briefly consumed by Kingdom Hearts, but mostly the computer thing. So far, I'm 7 episodes into what I consider Season 2 for the channel, and while this was originally planned to be Episode 8, I'm gonna take September to work on something a little smaller for Halloween. It'll likely be a little bit later into September since I'm going to be redoing my room soon, repainting the walls and getting a new desk and such. Let me be absolutely clear that this does not mean that the New Vegas door randomizer video has been cancelled. It is still happening, but that video is going to end up being episode 9 with a likely release in November. Vegas has been fully recorded and is still under note-taking at this time. It has not entered the editor yet, and I'm also planning a teaser video separate from the actual video, so nobody has to watch it if they don't want to. I included an intro back in the Pew Pew video that in hindsight I probably should have done as its own separate short video considering most people skipped it anyway. I haven't decided what Christmas 2023 is going to be, but I do have an idea for a multi-game special that I want to do. Not necessarily Christmas related, but a small compilation of games that I simply don't feel are large enough to warrant their own individual videos. As for future video ideas I have in mind, Fallout 4 is going to be done again soon. There was a run idea that Mitten Squad had done a long time ago that I personally feel is possible and want to try myself. Bugdom 2 is also on the list. I just have to get around to getting it on my MacBook because as much as I love physical media, I'm not in the mood to try to get a decrepit Windows version running on my PC this time. There's also some GameCube games I want to look at, and I generally like to step back into the older console space for reviews. I've also got some handheld games I'd like to look at on the DS, but that's all for later down the line. Right now the timeline looks like this. Episode 8 being the untitled Halloween video, Episode 9 being the Vegas door randomizer for November, and Episode 10 being undecided right now for in December, which will cap off Season 2. Season 3 will start sometime next year once I've put together the Season 2 marathon video. I've had ideas for how to format that one for a long time now, and if you've caught any of my past live streams, you've already seen some of it. The TV station logo that appears in my intro and outro was made specifically for the Season 2 marathon. I had this idea of it being shown as like a full-day TV marathon on a random TV station. As a small treat, here's a proof of concept I made earlier this year. I need to move an old VCR we have upstairs to get some authentic artifacting. I feel like I've gotten better with faking it after the Stalker video, but nothing compares to the real deal. By the way, check out that video if you haven't yet. That's all I've really got to say for now. My computer issues are, hopefully, finally resolved and I can get back to actually making use of this giant glowing potato. I'll see you guys in the next video at some point in October. Bye.